Hi, this is Bob from WAMS Tech, and today we're going to show you how to create an assignment in PowerSchool Unified Classroom, and then how to grade that assignment. Now, a little bit about the vocabulary of the word assignment. In other gradebooks, it might be referred to as a score column, right, or a column in your gradebook. In PowerSchool Unified Classroom, anytime you create in a column, that's the vocabulary word assignment in Unified Classroom. Now, in addition to that, because it is labeled assignment, one thing that PowerSchool Unified Classroom does is not only does it serve as a score column in your gradebook, but it also serves as the mechanism or the feature that allows students to turn in those assignments digitally and allows you to grade them digitally as well. So it's a score column and it's a drop box for students to complete the assignment. All of those features are located within the grading menu here on the left-hand side. In a previous video, we've already set up our categories, and so we're going to skip that portion for our video today. And we're going to take a look at our assignment and activity list. Right? So anytime you create a score column assignment in PowerSchool Unified Classroom, you'll see it in a list form here in our assignment activity list. The score sheet is our gradebook, like you would typically see if your name's going down and your assignment's going across. Right? Grades, this would be like the report card view. So here's where you can see term grades, category grades, grade reports, things of that nature. It'll also allow you to override grades. And if you're doing standards-based grading, it's a section where you'll type in your standard-based grades. Categories we took a look at, and then finally rubrics. And the way rubrics works is you create your digital rubric, and then you attach it to an assignment. And when you're ready to score your assignment, you use your digital rubric by just clicking the buttons, and it'll automatically populate the total for your score. It'll automatically populate the total score of that rubric into your gradebook for you. It's pretty nice, right? All right, so let's take a look at our assignment and activity list. For the moment, I have no assignments, so I'm going to go ahead and create one. And again, assignments is synonymous with a score column. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new assignment, and you can do so at any point within PowerSchool Unified Classroom. It doesn't matter which menu you're in, by clicking the plus button at the top. Now, the first time you click the plus button, it's going to ask you to set your default action. I highly recommend making your default action the Unified Classroom Basic Assignment. What this will do is it'll create for you a score column in your gradebook. So make it basic assignment. All right, so I'll select my basic assignment. So now that it's the default, I can click on done. And you'll see that now it's been designated as the default. All right, so now from here on out, whenever I want to create a score column assignment in PowerSchool Unified Classroom, I simply hit the plus button. So let's walk through this process. All right, so I have a lesson that I want the students to complete on paper. So it's lesson 5.4. And my category is homework, and I want this to be an assignment. Right? The other options you have here are assessment and assessment key type, which we're not going to use. We're going to use assignment. Right? Students are not submitting work online here, so I'm going to uncheck that box. If I want to put in a description, I certainly can. What's nice about including a detailed description here is that students will see it when you go to publish this assignment. So when they open up their PowerSchool Unified Classroom, they'll see that they have an assignment due, and here's the description of the assignment. Very similar to how you're currently doing it in PowerSchool Learning. All right, so there's a due date. And I want to display this score immediately to students and parents. If I didn't, I can make it on a specific date or on the due date itself, so it's up to you. And we want to make this available to all of my classes, not just this particular class. So I hit the edit pencil in the top right-hand corner here and select all classes, and then OK. Score type is points. It's worth 3 points. If I am able to give extra credit, I can put on extra points. I have to physically push that button in order to give extra credit points, though. Otherwise, if I try putting in anything more than that, it's going to throw back an error saying, sorry, your max is 3, you can't put 4. So you're being very intentional with this assignment that you're giving extra credit. Okay. It's going to count in the final grade. And for score calculation methods, it's scoring separately. The other options here is if we do standards-based grading, which we're not doing. And also, if we want to attach a rubric, we would do so here. For now, I'm just going to do save and close. All right, and you see that it brought me to the Assignments and Activities menu. Now, again, the Assignments and Activities menu is the same one here, Grading and Assignments Activity List, and all of my assignments will be listed in chronological order as a list. Okay. A couple things I can do here. First off, just this screen here, you see that it's what the category is, what the assignment is, when it was due, if it was submitted or if it's done, and how many times it was graded, right? So because I can see here that I haven't graded any of them yet, it's 0 out of 16, and the done is grayed out because they're not submitting this work online. So that's not one of the options. It's worth 3 points, right? If I click on it, okay, I can see some more detail here. Basically all of these these same icons, but kind of drawn out a little bit, okay? And I have options to go to the scoring, to the gradebook, or edit this assignment once again. And that's the same 3 icons. You see the eye, the calculator, and the pencil, as if I were to just hover over it. And here's my eye, my calculator, and my pencil. All right, I don't need to edit this assignment. I can go ahead and score this assignment, and I can grade it using the gradebook. Now, your default action is probably going to be grading it using the gradebook. But I do want to show you what the scoring might look like if you wanted to score this assignment using the eyeball feature. All right, so if I click on the eyeball, okay, you see that I'm just within this one assignment, and here are my list of kids, and I can grade them using just whatever the score is. So it's 3 points, right? I can go down my list, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3. All right, 4. I can't do 4. It's gonna throw back an error, right? See, it's red. Sorry, you can't do that. All right, so 3. You see here that you have color-coded. So if they scored a 3 versus a 2 versus a 1 versus a 0, right? You see the level of green, orange, and red. Right? So you can actually get a heat map up here in the top right-hand corner as well. So if I wanted to show just which kids have reds, right, or just which kids have green, and it's all based on percentage. So feel free to use the color coding to your advantage. Right? Now, if I choose just 3, 3, 3, all right, and I save, okay, I now see that all 16 were scored. Right? Again, this is still not marked as done because they didn't turn in any assignments. If I had checked that box where they're allowed to submit their assignments online, maybe they're turning in a paper or a screenshot of something, right? That information would be in this blank column here. I could take a look at it, I can grade it, and I can make any comments on it, and then I can mark it as done. And then I can see which ones were done in addition to being scored. So I can mark them as done, and I can mark them as scored. So this is one way to grade your assignments. Okay. You'll use this grading screen when students are submitting work online, because you want to be able to see that work and then grade that work and then give them a score for that work. However, if you're simply just putting in scores based off of something you have in front of you, paper that they turned in, or just off of your own notes, everybody gets a 3 because they participated today, I would not come to the assignment details view. Instead, what I would do is I would go to the gradebook view. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the gradebook view. All right, so here's my score. You see that I've already filled them in as all 3s. All right, so instead, what this would have been blank. Right? And if I want to score them, I click on the first cell, and I now have my keypad here. I can use my keyboard keypad, or I can use the keypad here. Right? I also have different codes. I can mark something as missing, something as collected, something as late, right? Incomplete, exempt, or absent. Again, I can still fill. Right? Unlike the Redeker gradebook, you can actually enter in annotations and comments without having to switch to a different mode. Right? Speaking of comments, if I want to put in comments, I can simply click on the cell and start typing in some comments. Right, so for example, this student was headed incomplete, so they only get a 2 out of 3. And you can say something in here like missing page 3. Right? And so now I see that there's a comment in addition. Right? In addition to this comment box here, you can also type longer comments. If I switch from the calculator view to the comment view, see those comments carried over. But in addition to these comments, I also have the option of entering a comment from a comment bank. Now, if we set something up at the middle school, we can actually have some middle school comments here. We don't have any, but you can also set up your own comment bank here as well. So I can hit the gear and I can actually go to manage comments and actually create my own comments from my comment bank, and then they would be listed here under the my comments. All right? And then I click on save scores. And that's it. Okay. If I wanted to switch to the other view, I would click on this green button here. Right? If I wanted to edit this column, I can go to edit assignment here. If I click on show more, I can see what my grading scale is. I can also see what these different special codes are. Okay. And finally, if I click on the gear here, I can also show some other things. I can show some metrics, what the mean, median, and mode are for this score column. And the last feature here in the gear is import scores. So how this works is that you can actually create a column and then import your scores to that column from a spreadsheet. Let me show you quickly how that works. All right, I'm going to go ahead and create a new assignment. Okay, so now you see that I'm in my pop quiz, and I'm going to grade this score, and I want to import scores. So the first thing I have to do is actually export a scores template. And here it is. It's a CSV file here. It's going to open up in Microsoft Excel. Okay, it looks like this. And then I need to put in the scores. I already have these scores in a CSV file, so I'll copy and paste in this score column here, like so. Okay. And then I'll save. I'm going to close it. It'll ask me to save. Okay. And now I'll import. So I'll import scores. I'm going to browse files. Here's my pop quiz. Open. Next. Okay, I'm going to make sure everything looks right. I'll hit import. And now it saved me the work of having to type it all in. Now, obviously, you have to figure out what's going to be faster. Is it typing this or importing it? Now, if I have a 300-point assignment, it might be faster just to, and I already had it graded somewhere. Maybe I already had it in Quizlet or Membean, and I already have all those points right there. Right? I can just copy and paste them and put it in this way rather than having to type out 3 digits for everything. Now, finally, you do notice that we are focused in on just this one particular assignment in PowerSchool Unified Classroom. If we want to see our entire gradebook, it's simply clicking on this little link at the top here. It says return to score sheet, and then you'll be able to see all of your scores at once here. You also see how many columns per page. So right now I have it set to 7. Right after 7, there'll be a little arrow over here I can click, and it'll kind of forward me over 7 there. If I did more than that, it would condense things and let me scroll a little bit. So you just kind of play around with those settings to your liking. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at robert.petito@woodward.edu. And as always, thanks for watching.